So you've never had to really defend being poly, from what I just hear.
I think it doesn't feel like I've had to defend it as in somebody disapproves of what I'm doing.
Hmm.
What I do feel like I have to do is explain that no, this is serious. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not just dating around. I don't consider myself single. I'm not playing the field. Like, this is
Right.
just a thing that I'm choosing to do with my relationships.
Hmm.
And I'm sure there are people who don't believe me, which is
They think,
fine.
oh, she's gonna get her shit together at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. So I feel like I have explained that more times than I thought I would.
Hmm.
But I've never felt like, you know, I was having to defend the lifestyle.
Okay.
I think people who talk to me sort of know that I don't, they can say whatever they want and I don't care. And if they're, dicks about it, I'm not going to engage. Like, we're not going to have this fight.
Right.
So mostly it hasn't been an issue. And also my friends are just all, pretty
Pretty cool
accepting
people.
people.
Awesome. It's not always the case. So you've had a pretty cool experience so far. I
Oh, it's
gotta
been
tell you,
awesome.
from
I feel
January
so
to now,
lucky.
like, yeah, I'm like,
This
all
is
right,
great. No, I'm
what the
having so
hell?
much fun. This is awesome.
So, would you ever try dating someone that is monogamous?
Um,
Because so far it seems like they've all been poly.
they've all been poly. I don't. It would be weird. I think that almost would feel like betraying is such a strong word. It feels like it would be wrong though to date somebody who might have intentions for me that are completely 100% incompatible
Hmm.
with a relationship that I've already established.
Hmm.
So you it's not like every relationship needs an end game. There are plenty
Hmm.
of people that I'm dating that, we're not going to level up. I'm going to see you every 2 or 3 weeks and we're going to have sex. It's going to be fun. And that's like all it's ever going to be.
Hmm.
But it feels different to date somebody who identifies as strictly incompatible with the
Hmm.
lifestyle you've already picked. I wouldn't be comfortable with my boyfriend dating a woman who identified as monogamous
Why is that?
because I do. I mean, if he wanted to do it, fine. I wouldn't really understand why. And I think that would feel a little bit threatening to me in a way that dating a non monogamous person wouldn't be because, like, I would know in the back of my head that it's not like her goal would be to take her away or take him away from me,
Hmm.
but it's sort of the pretty logical endpoint of
Right.
monogamous dating is like he would no longer be dating other people.
Hmm.
So it's not like a thing that I would tell him not to do, but I would certainly voice the concern that this is not, unless you think that she'd be open to non monogamous dating,
Yeah.
you're setting yourself up to like have to decide between us. And
Hmm.
that's just a weird situation to put yourself in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So,
So, have you approached any other people that you're dating?
about,
So, how do you, since they're all poly, I'm
yeah.
guessing you met them within a circle.
Yeah.
Okay, so this question's relevant because I was going to say, how do
Yeah.
you approach people? A lot of
Well,
people don't
I
know.
still, like, I was on OkCupid for a long time. And I
I think I
just,
saw you there.
yes, I did see you on OkCupid. Um, and I've just found that, like, I've just never had good luck dating on OkCupid.
Mm.
I always, I don't know, it just, there's something about the filtering that you do in person that not being able to do it just really doesn't work for me.
Hmm.
So partly OkCupid just wasn't working and I didn't feel like sinking time into something that just wasn't working. Fun as it was to get the ego boost of like somebody wants to date me. You have to work so hard to make your profile visible enough for that to happen. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's really all the people that I'm dating now are sort of in this circle.
Hmm.
I guess one of them technically I did meet on OkCupid, but he ended up being in the poly group that I am in now anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, all the people that I'm dating now, the ones that I didn't meet on the internet, or the ones that I did meet on the internet, I would have met them anyway.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like me.
Yes. Yes.
We saw each other there, but we met anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Is there any concern for favoritism or anything dealing with the multiple person, like time issues or...
It was more of an issue with the guy that I was dating where that relationship just ended because he's the first poly person I dated, and he has a girlfriend that he's very, very in love with and very, very focused on. And I think I went into things very much in a, this is casual, but it's really not casual.
Yeah.
And so, I think that I went in feeling like this was going to be a relationship that would end up taking more time. Like, over time, we would just get more serious with each other. Mm-hmm. And when I was still in that mindset, it was difficult for me to deal with the fact that he was always going to have this girlfriend. And really, like, in the end, she was always going to be his favorite. Mm-hmm. And because, like, they had just set up that life together. Like, that was how it was going to work.
Kind of like what you're doing with...
Yeah. Oh, no. Now. Yeah, my boyfriend's my favorite. He's great. Yeah. Nobody else is going to be my favorite for a while. And so it was harder to deal with when I was less comfortable with the idea of just being casual with somebody. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot more comfortable now just because I'm a lot more comfortable with poly itself and with dating multiple people and with the fact that not every relationship is going to get more serious over time.
Right.
And so, yeah, that just was, I think, a mindset that I had to practice a little bit. And so now that comes a little bit more naturally to me. But things do change, and I think that if my boyfriend and I stay serious, that, it could happen that he starts dating somebody and they get more serious and it's a little bit scary. Like, that's certainly something that is not, it's in the realm of possibilities. I think it's the thing that we would just talk about and figure out as we went. Because it's not, I don't think we plan to set up our relationship so that, to exclude additional serious relationships. Right. I don't think we plan to do that, but it's something that we'll talk about as, before we move in together.
Is, like, the potential of a third person living with you possible?
Possible in the sense that anything is possible. Right. It's not really something I would want. I never liked having roommates.
The whole introvert thing, that plays into that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just living with people is complicated and sucky. Everybody has a way that they want the house to be set up, and so every new person you introduce means introducing new compromises that you have to make in how your space is set up. And I don't love that, but if it happened, it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, it would have to be a certain type of situation, though. Like, you'd have to have a certain kind of relationship with the person.
Exactly.
To where you're okay with even making those sort of decisions, I guess.
So it would be negotiated and considered and everything, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also discovered that being in a serious relationship is, like, really scary. Like, it was really weird. Okay, so I'd been dating this guy for 8 months before he dumped me, and it was a big surprise. And we've talked about it since, and, like, we're good, and we're friends, and we are, like, gonna have a date next week. So we've just sort of reoriented to the expectations are very low, and we're not gonna see each other once a week anymore, and he's not, like, a boyfriend. So yeah, but we're good. But I've been dating this guy for 8 months, and then he surprise dumped me. And then I had this, like, really dark couple of days. He did. He did surprise dump me. It was also a surprise to. He was having a really bad night, and he was having a night where I think that he just really needed to be alone, and he didn't know how to say it, so he just dumped me.
Wow!
It was so sad. I got to his place, and he was obviously in this total shit mood, and he wasn't mean or anything. He was just, like, really closed off and sort of, like, drawn into himself, and he wasn't talking. And finally he said, I just feel like I've been doing so much nothing. I need to get out of the house and do something. And so I convinced him we just needed to go to dinner. And so we went to a place we both really like and got some fun cocktails and like had some delicious food. And after a while, he said he was feeling a lot better, and it was clear he was lighter, and he was having more fun. He was smiling and laughing. And then probably, 75% of the way through dinner, I was finally relaxed, and I was like, oh my God, I thought you were going to dump me. And then in the car on the way home, he got really quiet, and he was like, actually, I was thinking about breaking up with you.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And he just was having, like...
Holy shit.
I didn't know this, but he was having a sort of rough time in general, and he was feeling a little bit purposeless, and so, like, stuff that all, I think, happens to guys who are a little bit older, and still, like, he's living alone. He's got a girlfriend that he loves very much, but I think that he'd just gotten to a point in his life where he felt like things weren't moving forward anymore, and so, like, I get that, that's fine. Yeah, just sort of, I think I introduced in the conversation the, like, you could dump me, and then it happened.
You just made it easier. Like,
oh, it's funny. And, like, it's great. Like, our relationship really had run its course, I think.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We don't have... he's a great person. I really like him, but we don't have as much in common as I usually would want to have with the person that I date. So it was great to have a steady thing that I could count on every week as my introduction to poly.
Right.
So he was like the person that I could say anything to, and he would never judge me. And obviously, like, there are lots of those people, but he was sort of the designated, I can say anything to this person.
He was like the first anchor. Like,
yeah. And so it was great to have something stable and positive, and now that I'm a little bit more oriented, it's okay to have that turn into I see you every couple weeks kind of thing. Right. So it's very nice.
Yeah, I meant to ask about that earlier. So I'm like, the whole poly thing.
Oh, I was so scared of my first poly breakup.
Yeah. I was like, so how do you work out a breakup,
This, I think, was pretty amicable. Like, aside from he really kind of fucked it up that one night. This was...
Poly fail.
It was like really his first big fail, so it's not a factor in my evaluating his personality.
Right.
It was a lot like a normal breakup in that I, went through, like, I'm really rejected, and then I'm really mad, and then I think he's such an idiot, and we had such a good thing, and then I'm really sad because he's going to be gone from my life, and then, that settled down after a couple weeks, and it settled down actually a lot faster than my other, breakup recoveries have, because we have so many friends in common, like, going out with my girlfriends and then, like, trashing him and his entire family and all of his ancestors for his existence was just really not an option. Like,
right.
I can't say that stuff to people. I can't, run around and tell all my friends, like, all the awful things he ever did. And if he didn't do that many awful things, like really search for the details.
Like, you just exaggerate a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I couldn't do that. And because I think usually that stuff feels really cathartic. But I don't think it is. I'm not sure that, like, really, like, letting all that stuff fester is good. So, big shock. So, it was really helpful to have all of my sort of allies in getting dumped also be friends with him, because nobody was willing to say anything terrible about him. And I was conscious of the fact that I couldn't say anything terrible about him no matter how much I wanted to, because these are his friends. And, like, not only are they not going to say anything awful about him, they're going to stick up for him, and they should. So it helped me get into the mindset a lot faster that we are going to have to be peaceful and we are going to have to be kind. And so we need to just start that right now. And I had to get kind of assertive with him about talking to me after the breakup, because it was sort of he dumped me, I went straight home, and we didn't talk.
Right.
And after like 2 weeks, after a week, I was like, okay, I haven't heard from you anything about, why you broke up with me. And more practically, I don't know what kind of contact you want to have with me. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, it was a total surprise that he dumped me. And I didn't have any context for why that happened. So I didn't know, like, do you just never want to see each other until we're at parties and then we just have to be friendly, but otherwise it's like we don't know each other? Mm-hmm. Like, how does this work? And so I think, like, 2 weeks after he dumped me, I was like, okay, this is bullshit. Like, get your shit together. I know you don't want to have this talk, but you do. Like, it's not cool for you to dump me and then disappear and refuse to speak to me about basic stuff like what you want our relationship to be like. And honestly, he really did need to just speak to me because we dated for 8 months and it was a really sudden surprise thing. So he really did need to, like, talk to me about what was going on and why. And so yeah, we got all that sort of hammered out pretty quickly.
You were like super poly girl.
Thanks.
What the hell?
This has been fun.
Doing this like 6-7 years that are still fucking it all up, and you like got it together.
I'm a little obsessive about doing everything right. I don't know. It's not the best personality trait, but it's working out okay right now.
It's working out here, yeah.
Well, it was sort of a New Year's resolution thing to, like, I moved. I was in Minnesota. I was not happy with my grad program, so I moved back here to, you know, finish all the writing up and stuff. But I just wasn't happy with how my life was going, and I guess I sort of subconsciously made a New Year's resolution to just, like, say yes to stuff and see what happened. Because, like, my life wasn't going right, and so I knew I wanted it to be different, but I didn't know exactly how, so I kind of figured, you know, if an opportunity arose to do something interesting, that I would just do it. So there has been, like, that general attitude has been super helpful, and just, like, the baseline... I think my baseline assumption with any romantic relationship had been sort of, you need to be tough because shit could go wrong and you could get hurt. And I think it works a little bit better to say, like, you could try something new and it could be fun.
Right.
So, yeah, that general attitude has been super helpful.
Shifted.
Yeah, because, I mean, normally it's really easy when something goes wrong in a relationship to be really angry and to feel like, well, I knew this was coming. And I just think it works a lot better if when something goes wrong, your basic assumption is like, well, that wasn't fun. Should probably figure out what happened.
Right.
Yeah, so, like, experiencing negative emotions a little bit more cautiously has been really good for this.